Welcome back to my channel. As I told you in the last video, it is time to make your own infrastructure. So let's begin with the part one. The part one is how to plan the infrastructure, how to plan the environment. Yeah, the camera is so high, that's why I have problems with looking at you, but I think you will get along with me. So first of all, you need to know what applications do you want for your infrastructure, for your environment. I don't know. Maybe you want an Nextcloud, like a replacement for Google Cloud. You want your own mail and web server. I mean, it's not that important. You can figure it out later and always add it up. But if you have already an idea in your brain, pick like this. You can have a plan. And what is this about? The thing is, you shouldn't have one single server that has multiple, most importantly, important applications on one server. Because imagine you have your own mail server and also Minecraft on it, and I don't know, maybe you're hosting your Minecraft server. You get out of RAM issue and your server crashes. That shouldn't happen with Linux, but maybe it happens. Then your mail is also gone, and probably you don't want your mail to be down. Maybe you're waiting for a job offer or whatever. You want your mail to be always available. That's why you want to have your mail on your separate server. The same for your database, probably, and your proxy. It depends how you want to do it, but I am using my proxy as the gateway to the internet. So most of the things, like my web page, Nextcloud, Jellyfin, my media server, are going through my proxy to the internet. That means if you look at the firewall, security, these are all the open ports on all my virtual machines, and this is for most of the parts so they can communicate with each other. For example, of course, the database is open, so Nextcloud can communicate with the database, and my mail can communicate with the database. But some of the ports, like the IMAP ports and the ports for my proxy, for my Nginx server, are also NATed on the router, so they can be accessible from the outside. That means if you have your own domain, you can type your domain, whatever, evilcorporation.com, and you can access my proxy, and maybe you can also access my Nextcloud, but over the proxy. So you just have one server that manages all the traffic, or maybe you have two servers, whatever, but you have like a main server that is managing the network traffic to the outside internet. Yeah, of course you can have like two. You can have like high availability setups. The same for database, whatever. This is not like important now. Yeah. So after you have the plan, you can write down the ports that all the applications need to access and need to have open. For example, Nextcloud needs the HTTP port and optionally HTTPS. And it needs to access the database. So if you know the Nextcloud needs to access the database, you need to open the database port on the virtual machine where the database is stored. When you know the applications, you can make the resource plan. So you can roughly estimate how much storage you will need and how much RAM. I think for most home scenarios, when you have above 6 cores, it doesn't matter about threads, because the big plus of virtual machines is that you can over apply cores to your virtual machines. For example, I have on Ryzen 7 with 8 cores and 12 and 16 threads, but I applied 18 threads to all my virtual machines. But I could theoretically give all of them like 60 threads. But in this case, all the threads will be shared. So, for example, if Freya decides to use all of the threads and max them out, then all the servers will probably die. That's why you try to split the cores. For example, like my proxy doesn't really need much of the performance, and it has just like 2 threads. And if you look at the usage, exactly this one, like this one, it's super low. Like you don't even notice it. But in some cases, you can like give more threads than you actually have. GPU, you don't need a GPU for most of the cases, but if you have a multimedia server, you maybe want a GPU so that you can transcode the video on your server itself and not on the client. Could be useful if you, for example, want to watch videos, 4K videos on a super low-end laptop for €100. This laptop probably won't handle transcoding of 4K movie. At this point, I forgot to tell you about the storage. For example, Alf, you can see 10 gigabytes. And how did I estimate it? That's pretty simple. I am using Arch Linux as my base for my virtual servers. I know that's controversial, but I am doing it. And I know that Arch Linux is using about 400 megabytes for the base system. So I can take a look at Nextcloud's storage usage, maybe something about 2 gigabytes. Of course, just for the application itself, not the data that is stored on it, and can estimate about 2 gigabytes. And maybe another 2 gigabytes for plugins. So I have about 5 gigabytes. I just gave it double because, yeah, 10 gigabytes sounds good. And the same can be applied to other servers and applications. So after you got the plan, you can optionally draw a diagram. Draw IO. Pick, you can create a diagram. Like you have 4 servers. If you like visual stuff, right? So you can look at it, and if it helps you with thinking and projecting, you can make this, I don't know, Proxmox or hypervisor, and make the internet cloud here, internet. Okay, let's say Nextcloud. Nextcloud needs access to the database. It needs access to the database, and it also needs access to the proxy because the proxy is talking with the outside world, so you can access Nextcloud over the internet. The mail also is talking, whatever is talking with the internet. And the database. All of this is, yeah, that's not really like needed, but all of this is like has a connection to the proxy, to the hypervisor. Yeah, maybe something like this, whatever. Oh, bam, something like this. whatever. You can make it your own way. Maybe, I don't know, you can write IP addresses here on, or I don't know, like this is server number one, number two, and then you can make uh, like a table, what applications are running there, applications, yeah, whatever, something like this. So after you have done your plan, in the next video, I will show you how to install your Proxmox server and deploy your first virtual machines. So let's see you in the next video.